You finally know what you need to do. You've done the processing, you understand why you've been stuck, and you're ready to take action. So you force yourself to do it. You push through, you white knuckle your way to the finish line. And then, almost immediately, you crash. You shut down. You end up more frozen than you were before. This is not a discipline problem. This is about taking action before your nervous system is ready. If you're watching this, you're probably someone who knows how to power through things. You've spent your whole life proving you can handle hard things. When something needs to get done, you do it. Even when every cell in your body is screaming at you to stop. And for a long time, that worked. Until it didn't. Now, when you push yourself, you don't bounce back. You collapse. You disappear for days or weeks. You lose access to the parts of yourself that make you feel capable. And the worst part? You feel like you can't trust yourself anymore. I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. What's happening isn't a failure of will. It's your nervous system telling you something important. And today, I'm going to help you learn how to listen. I'm Dr. Hannah. Over the past 2 decades, I've worked with hundreds of high-functioning adults who've hit this exact wall. And what I've learned is this: sustainable action doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from learning to move from a regulated state. Let's start with what happens when you force action from a dysregulated state. When you push yourself to do something your nervous system hasn't cleared for safety, you're essentially overriding your body's alarm system. And in the moment, it might feel like strength, like you're finally taking control. But here's what's actually happening. You're activating your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response, just to get through the task. You're flooding your body with stress hormones to override the freeze. And then, when it's over, your system crashes because it never actually felt safe. You just temporarily drowned out the warning signals. This is why forcing yourself to just do it doesn't work long term, because you're not building capacity. You're just borrowing against your future self. And eventually, the bill comes due. The alternative? Learning to take action from regulation, from a place where your nervous system actually believes it's safe to move forward. There's a Japanese martial arts concept called zanshin, which translates loosely to remaining mind or lingering awareness. In practice, it's about staying present and aware even after you've completed an action. It's the opposite of collapsing the moment something is done. It's about maintaining connection to yourself throughout the entire process. Before, during, and after. When you force action from a dysregulated state, there is no zanshin. You sprint to the finish line, and then you're gone. You've abandoned yourself. But when you learn to move from regulation, you stay with yourself. You maintain awareness. You can sense when you're pushing too hard, when you need to pause, when you're actually okay to continue. That's what we're building toward. Not more willpower, more presence. So here's how you actually do this. How you take action without forcing yourself back into freeze. Step 1, check your baseline. Before you move, before you take any action, pause and ask yourself a simple question. What state am I in right now? Not, am I motivated? Not, do I feel ready? Just, what state is my nervous system in? Are you calm? Are you wired? Are you numb? Are you somewhere in between? Because here's what most people don't realize. The state you're in when you start determines whether the action will feel sustainable or traumatizing. If you're already dysregulated, if you're already flooded or shut down, and you force yourself to take action anyway, you're not building resilience. You're reinforcing the pattern that says action, danger. So before you move, check in. And if you're not in a place where you can stay present with yourself, then the first action isn't the big thing. It's regulation. This might look like taking 5 deep breaths, going for a short walk, lying down for 10 minutes, or simply naming what you're feeling without judgment. It's not procrastination. It's preparation. Step 2. Notice the difference between stretch and strain. Once you've checked your baseline and you're moving from a relatively regulated place, the next step is to stay aware of your edge. There's a difference between stretch and strain. Stretch feels uncomfortable, but you can still breathe. You can still think. You haven't lost access to yourself. Strain feels like you're about to break. Your breath gets shallow or stops. Your thoughts start spiraling or go blank. You feel like you're white-knuckling your way through. Most of us have been taught to push through strain, to treat it like proof of our strength. But strain is not where growth happens. It's where injury happens. Growth happens at the edge of stretch, the place where you're expanding just slightly beyond what feels comfortable. But you're still connected to yourself. So as you're taking action, pay attention. Notice when you cross from stretch into strain, and when you do, pause, breathe, come back to yourself. This doesn't mean you stop completely. It means you adjust. Maybe you take a smaller step. Maybe you slow down. Maybe you add more support. The goal is not to avoid discomfort. It's to stay present with discomfort without abandoning yourself in the process. Step 3. Build in integration time after action. Here's the part most people skip. And it's the reason they crash after taking action. Integration. When you take a big step, when you have the hard conversation, make the decision, send the text, your nervous system needs time to process what just happened. But most of us don't give it that time. We take the action, and then we immediately move on to the next thing. Or we wait anxiously for the outcome. Or we judge ourselves for how we handled it. And that's when the crash happens. Because your nervous system never got the message that you're safe, that you survived, that you can handle what comes next. So, after you take action, build in integration time. This doesn't have to be long. It could be 5 minutes. It could be an hour. But it needs to happen. Integration might look like sitting quietly without distraction, journaling about what you noticed in your body, taking a walk without your phone, simply acknowledging to yourself, I did that, and I'm okay. The point is to let your nervous system catch up, to let it register that you moved forward and you're still intact. That action doesn't have to equal collapse. Deeper Japanese integration. There's another Japanese concept that's relevant here. Shoshin, beginner's mind. Shoshin is about approaching something with openness and curiosity, even if you've done it before. It's the opposite of going through the motions. It's about staying present. When you're learning to take action from regulation, you need Shoshin, because every time will be different. Your baseline will be different. Your capacity will be different. The circumstances will be different. And if you approach it with the mindset of, I should already know how to do this, or this should be easier by now, you'll miss the information your body is giving you in real time. Shoshin says, stay curious. Notice what's different this time. Let yourself be surprised by your own capacity, or by your need to go slower than you expected. I need to say this clearly. If you've been forcing yourself through life, and now you're learning to move differently, it's going to feel slow. It's going to feel inefficient. It might even feel like you're going backward. That's not failure. That's recalibration. You're not weak because you can't just push through anymore. You're wise. Your body is telling you that the old way isn't sustainable, and you're finally listening. This process takes time, and the people who do it well aren't the ones who rush it. They're the ones who stay present with themselves while they learn. Now, here's what I didn't cover today. This video was about the individual action, the moment-to-moment process of moving from regulation. But there's a bigger pattern at play, because for many of you, the reason you've been forcing yourself isn't just about one decision. It's about a lifetime of being rewarded for overriding your body, of being told that your needs don't matter as much as the task, the relationship, the expectation. And until you address that deeper pattern, the one that says your discomfort is not a valid reason to stop, you'll keep cycling back into the same collapse. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about why you learn to abandon yourself in the first place. And more importantly, how to start building a relationship with yourself that makes sustainable action possible. If this video shifted something for you, if it helped you see your slowness not as failure, but as wisdom, then subscribe. Because this channel isn't about quick fixes. It's about building a different relationship with yourself. One where you don't have to force, override, or abandon yourself to move forward. This is a process, and you're not alone in it.